Hello, this is Mrs. Lewis with your science lesson today. This is a book in my classroom. I got a lot of books that I can share with you on animals or other things of interest in the science area, okay? This one is by Gail Gibbons. I'll read you this booklet today. And it starts out with this picture right here. What time of the year do you think it is? It is springtime. It is springtime at the pond. It is springtime at the pond. And it'll have this in there. See, look, it's a jelly-like cluster of eggs. Toad floats among the water weeds at the pond's surface. These eggs are the beginning of frogs. Did you know that? These eggs are going to become frogs. Like I said, it's by Gail Gibbons. Whole bunch of eggs is called a frog spawn. Frog spawn. A breeze ripples the surface. The floating clump of eggs is called frog spawn. Frogs lay their eggs in water or wet places. Otherwise, the eggs could dry up and die. These eggs do not have shells. They are inside jelly-like coverings. As they float, the jelly lets the sun's warmth come through to the eggs inside. Not all the eggs will survive. It means that they will not live, a lot of them. But some will from these eggs. Jelly-like, right, you guys? Jelly-like. Most of the time, the large and slimy mass of eggs is too slippery and too big to be eaten. This is nature's way of protecting them. But some of the smaller clusters of eggs will be eaten by creatures living in or near the pond. That fish is going to try to eat some, huh? Yeah, those jelly-like eggs. But they're actually big enough to where a lot of them can't get to it. Only the smaller ones they can get. Okay, turn the page to the next one. The dark centers of the eggs slowly grow into frog embryos. The embryos grow until they look like small tadpoles. Tadpoles are frog babies. As they grow, they feed off their own egg yolks. Had egg yolk from eggs. Chicken eggs, you know, huh? These guys have egg yolk too, and that's what they're living on, those little tiny tadpoles. You've seen tadpoles, huh? Okay, these tadpoles grow until they are big enough to break free into the water. It can take from 3 days to 3 weeks for this to happen, depending on what kind of frogs they will become. Tadpoles coming out of their eggs. There you go. One by one, the tadpoles hatch from their eggs. They each have a head, a tail, and body. The tadpoles wiggle their tails to swim. They wiggle their tails to swim. There you go, tadpoles. The tadpoles breathe by getting air from the water through feathery outside gills. As they swim, they eat very small plants that stick to the larger water plants. These tiny plants are called algae. So can you see them eating those little tiny plants? That's called algae. Okay. 1 week later, the tadpoles look different. They are bigger. Their gills begin to shrink. A flap of skin slowly grows over them. The tadpoles' mouths become hard with tiny teeth in their upper jaws. They're changing. What are tadpoles going to become, huh? Tadpoles, what are you going to be? Now the tadpoles are 1 month old. Their outside gills have disappeared. New gills inside the tadpoles take oxygen from the water. Their tails are wider for stronger swimming. Something wonderful begins to happen. At the base of their tails, bulges appear. This is where their hind frog legs are growing. Oh, frogs! At 2 months old, the tadpoles dart about the pond as they eat. They are still vegetarians. Vegetarians only eat plant life. The tadpoles get bigger. Now they have hind legs. Behind their heads, bulges appear where their front legs are growing. Bulges appear where the front legs are going to be growing. There you go. Oh, wow. Their legs. Now look at this side. Beginning to look more like frogs. Look at that. Wow. Okay. Their tails become smaller. The tadpoles' gills inside their bodies are gone. They have grown lungs to use for breathing. Now and then they wiggle to the surface to breathe in air. They go to the surface, huh? See, now and then they wiggle to the surface to breathe in air. The tadpoles are about 3 months old. Again, they look different. Whoa, a lot of changes, huh? They have front legs. Their tails are even smaller. They have shed their tadpole skin and lips. At last, they have the wide mouths of frogs. Okay. The tadpoles have become tiny frogs. They climb out of the pond and onto the land. Their tails will become smaller and smaller until they finally disappear. The tiny frogs begin to eat insects and worms. They aren't vegetarians anymore. What were vegetarians now? They only eat what? Plants, huh? Vegetarians only eat plants. Now, frogs are amphibians. The word amphibian comes from a Greek word that means 2 lives. An amphibian can live on land or in the water. Amphibian. Can you say that word? Amphibian. It's a Greek word that means 2 lives. An amphibian can live on land or in the water. Here's a talk about their blood. Frogs are cold-blooded. That means their inside body temperatures are about the same as the outside temperature. During the next few years, the tiny frogs will grow to be mature frogs. Then they will be able to make their own frog spawn, and there will be new baby frogs. Yep, they're now frogs, and they are cold-blooded, right, you guys? Cold-blooded, meaning their body temperatures are about the same as the outside temperature. Okay, let's turn the page. Look at that. There's a skin, and there are the back legs, 5 toes, and they have webbed feet. And then there's a front leg, 4 toes. The tongue is attached to the front of the mouth. It is sticky, so it can catch the insects, huh? Sticky tongue. Frogs, they have many body parts, like the one we just saw on this side, along with their sticky tongue, right? Anyway, frogs don't hunt for food. Their big eyes are on top of their heads, so they can see all the way around. They stay very still. When something flies or crawls nearby, their long, sticky tongues dart out to catch it. They swallow their food whole. Okay? No chewing on this one. They swallow it whole. Frogs that swim use their powerful hind legs and webbed feet to push them through the water. Frogs have 2 sets of eyelids. One set is transparent so they can see through them. When frogs dive, they close their eyelids to protect their eyes. Dive. Did you hear dive? I'm trying to say dive. Anyway, transparent. It means that the first part of the eyelid, they can see through it, but then they also have one that closes it so that they can see. Let's see, when frogs dive, they close these eyelids to protect their eyes. That transparent one. Let's see if I understand it right, okay? Frogs that swim use their powerful hind legs and webbed feet to push them through the water. Frogs have 2 sets of eyelids. One set is transparent so they can see through them. When frogs dive, they close those eyelids to protect their eyes. Okay? There it is. On land, the frogs hop about. They use their very strong hind legs to leap. Most frogs can jump 10 times their body length. They are wonderful jumpers. Wow, have you seen a frog jump? They can jump like the frog maybe will be this small. It can jump like from here 10 times his body, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa, that's far. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa, about as long as this table that is in front of me. They can jump. They are wonderful jumpers. Frogs have enemies. Foxes, snakes, rats, birds, and other creatures eat frogs when they can catch them. A sudden leap is a quick escape from danger. For protection, some frogs have skin glands that make them taste bad or make them poisonous. Sometimes their skin color hides them from enemies. This is called camouflage. Hey, you know about camouflage, huh? Where the body changes to the color around them. Okay. There's a snake nearby. See that? Wanting that frog. But the frog has protection, huh? God made it so they can either taste bad or they can get camouflaged. Croak. Frogs make different sounds. Often male frogs call their mates this way. They pull air into air sacs at their throats. The air sacs expand to look like bubbles. Do you see that bubble right there? When frogs force the air out of their air sacs and into their lungs, the air passes over their vocal cords, which vibrate to make sounds. They make different calls that mean different things. Sometimes frogs are very loud. Yep, I've heard frogs. Have you heard frogs, huh? Yep. Okay. Where it is cold in the winter, the frogs go to sleep. Sometimes they find sheltered hollows. All winter they sleep covered with mud. They stay completely motionless. This is called hibernation. Know about hibernation? Sleeping in the winter. Other animals do that too, huh? They hibernate. Okay, in the springtime, when the sun begins to warm up the ground and ponds water, the frogs come out of hibernation. They are healthy and they are hungry. You know what? Let's pick this one up for next week, okay? Because there's like 4 or 5 different pages again, okay? So this is your science lesson. You guys have a good day. Enjoy.